Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Rise with English. Today, I'm going to tell you a deep emotional life story, a story about destiny, patience, and the one moment that changes everything forever. Listen carefully till the end, because this story might make you look at your own life differently. Now, let us begin. Raghav was a simple young man from a quiet town. He lived with his widowed mother in a small old house at the edge of the town. The walls were faded, the roof leaked during heavy rain, and the furniture was worn out with time. But inside that small house lived two hearts full of love and silent hope. Raghav was not extraordinary. He was not the topper of his class, not the most confident speaker, and not someone who stood out in a crowd. But he had one rare quality: he never complained about life. Every morning he woke up before sunrise, cleaned the house, made tea for his mother, and then left for his job at a small repair shop near the railway station. The salary was low, the work was tiring, but he did it with sincerity. His mother often said, "Beta, you deserve a better life." Raghav would just smile and reply, "One day, Ma, everything will change one day." But deep inside, he was not sure how or when that one day would come. There was one place Raghav loved more than anything: the railway station. Every evening after work, he sat on the same wooden bench on platform number 2 and watched the trains come and go. He observed the passengers, their emotions, their stories. Some were happy, some were crying, some were hopeful, some were lost. To him, every train looked like a symbol of destiny, arriving, stopping for a moment, and then leaving forever. One day, an old station master noticed him sitting there again and again. He asked, "Why do you watch these trains daily? Are you waiting for someone?" Raghav smiled and replied softly, "Maybe I'm waiting for my moment, my chance." The station master looked at him carefully and said something strange. "Remember one thing, son. In life, some trains come only once. If you hesitate, they never return." Those words sounded simple, but they stayed in Raghav's heart like an unfinished message. Years passed slowly. Raghav continued his job, took care of his mother, and lived a life full of routine. His friends moved to bigger cities, got better jobs, and slowly lost contact with him. Social media showed their achievements, promotions, and celebrations. Sometimes he felt a silent pain. He wondered, "Am I left behind? Is my life always going to remain this small?" But whenever these thoughts came, he looked at his mother's peaceful face and controlled his emotions. Her happiness was his biggest responsibility. One winter evening, something unexpected happened. While closing the repair shop, the owner suddenly announced, "I'm selling this shop. Next month it will be closed." Those words hit Raghav like a storm. That small shop was not just a workplace, it was his only source of income, his routine, his identity. Losing it meant stepping into an uncertain future. That night, he could not sleep. He kept thinking about money, responsibilities, and his mother's medicines. Fear slowly started filling his mind. For the first time in his life, he felt completely directionless. The next evening, he again went to the railway station and sat on his usual bench. The cold wind was blowing, and the platform looked unusually empty. His eyes were lost in thoughts. Suddenly, an announcement echoed. "Special express train to Capital City will arrive on platform number 2. This is a one-time special service." Raghav looked up with surprise. A one-time train? He saw people rushing, running with luggage, buying last-minute tickets, calling their relatives. The atmosphere suddenly became full of urgency and energy. The train slowly entered the platform with a loud sound. Its bright lights cut through the darkness like a sign of opportunity. Raghav's heart started beating faster for no clear reason. Inside him, a strange voice whispered, "This is your chance. Get on this train. Go to the city. Start a new life." But another voice replied, "How can you leave everything suddenly? What about your mother? What about money? What if you fail?" He sat frozen on the bench while people boarded the train one by one. His mind and heart were fighting a silent war. At that moment, his phone rang. It was his mother. He picked up the call. She said gently, "Beta, why do you sound worried these days?" Raghav hesitated, then told her everything: the shop closing, the fear of future, the special train standing in front of him. There was silence on the call for a few seconds. Then his mother said something he never expected. "Go, beta." Raghav was shocked. "Ma, how can I leave you alone?" She replied calmly, "You are not leaving me. You are going towards your destiny. I gave birth to you not to see you live in fear, but to see you live your full potential." Tears filled Raghav's eyes. She continued, "Some moments do not come again. If you miss them, life keeps moving, but regret stays forever." Those words felt like a final push from destiny itself. The train whistle blew loudly. It was the final signal. Raghav stood up slowly. His legs were shaking, his heart was racing, and his mind was full of uncertainty. But for the first time, he did not let fear control him. He picked up his small bag, took a deep breath, and walked towards the train. Each step felt heavy but meaningful. He boarded the train just seconds before the doors closed. As the train started moving, he looked out of the window. The platform, the bench, and his old life slowly disappeared behind him. Tears rolled down his face, not of sadness, but of courage. The journey was long and full of mixed emotions: excitement, fear, hope, doubt. Everything was inside him at the same time. He did not know what awaited him in the city. He did not know where he would stay, what job he would find, or how difficult life would become. But he knew one thing clearly: he had chosen action over fear. The city was loud, fast, and overwhelming. Tall buildings, crowded roads, strangers everywhere. For the first few weeks, life was extremely hard. He struggled to find a job, lived in a tiny rented room, and sometimes slept hungry to save money. There were nights when he questioned his decision. He thought, was boarding that train a mistake? But every time doubt came, he remembered his mother's words. "Some moments do not come again." Those words became his strength. Slowly, things started changing. He found a small job at a logistics company. The salary was modest, but it gave him stability. He worked honestly, learned quickly, and earned the trust of his seniors. Months turned into years. His responsibilities increased. His confidence grew. He handled challenges with patience and discipline. The boy who once repaired broken radios in a small town was now managing operations in a busy company. One day, his manager called him and said, "Raghav, we are opening a new branch. I want you to lead it." Raghav could not believe his ears. That moment felt unreal. That night, he stood on the terrace of his office building and looked at the city lights. His mind traveled back to the small railway station, the wooden bench, and that special train. He realized something deeply emotional. That train was not just a train, it was destiny knocking at his door. If he had hesitated that night, if he had chosen comfort over courage, his life would have remained exactly the same. Years later, Raghav returned to his hometown with success, confidence, and gratitude. He renovated his old house, ensured his mother lived comfortably, and reopened a modern repair and service center near the same railway station, but this time as the owner. One evening, he again sat on that same old bench on platform number 2. The station looked smaller now, but his emotions were bigger than ever. A young boy sat beside him, looking worried and lost in thoughts. Raghav asked gently, "What are you thinking so deeply about?" The boy replied, "I feel stuck in life. I'm waiting for the right opportunity." Raghav smiled softly and said, "Opportunities rarely look perfect when they arrive. They look risky, uncertain, and uncomfortable, but they come only once. The real question is, will you recognize them when they stand in front of you?" The boy looked at him with hope in his eyes. A train whistle echoed again in the distance. Raghav looked at the tracks and whispered slowly, "Thank you for that night, the night I chose courage over comfort." The wind blew gently, as if destiny itself was smiling. Moral of the story: life does not always give repeated chances. Sometimes one decision, one moment, one step of courage changes your entire destiny. When your moment arrives, do not let fear make you miss it, because some trains in life come only once and they never return.